Mommy, Grandma says Oreo is in hamster heaven. My 6-year-old daughter Emma sobbed through the phone, her little voice thick with heartbreak. My stomach dropped. Standing in my hotel room, hundreds of miles from home, I struggled to process her words. What do you mean, sweetie? I'm Jessica, 34 years old, and somehow, I never expected my biggest battle would be against my own mother-in-law. Margaret had never been subtle about her disdain for me, my career, or the fact that I didn't run my household according to her outdated standards. Grandma said Oreo got out and got hit by a car. My 8-year-old son Tyler chimed in, his voice shaky. She said we shouldn't have left him with a stranger instead of her. The stranger was Amanda, a professional pet sitter I'd hired specifically because I didn't trust Margaret with Oreo. She'd made her feelings clear from day one, calling him a dirty rodent and suggesting we get a proper pet instead. I took a breath, steadying myself. Let me talk to Grandma. There was shuffling on the other end, then Margaret's voice came through, sweet on the surface but laced with something smug beneath. Oh, Jessica, it's just awful, she sighed. The poor thing must have escaped from its cage. I found him this morning by the Thompsons' driveway. These things happen when mothers prioritize their careers over their families. My jaw clenched. There it is, the thinly veiled judgment, the constant need to paint me as an unfit mother. Too bad for her, I had facts on my side. I pulled up my messages from Amanda. The latest update was timestamped 9:47 a.m., nearly 2 hours after Margaret claimed to have found Oreo dead. A clear photo showed him happily munching on his favorite treats. I clicked over to the pet camera app on my phone, and there he was, alive, running on his wheel like nothing had happened. That's interesting, Margaret, I said, forcing my voice to stay calm. What time did you find him, exactly? Around 8 this morning. Such a tragedy. I smiled, though there was no warmth behind it. Would you like to revise your story? Excuse me? Because I'm looking at a live feed of Oreo right now, and he's very much alive. The silence stretched, then a fumbling excuse. Well, you must be mistaken. I saw him myself. Stop lying. My voice was sharp now. I have a pet camera. I have Amanda's updates. I have proof. Why would you tell my kids their pet died? A sharp intake of breath. Then indignation. You're spying on me? I let out a humorless laugh. No, Margaret. I'm monitoring my children's pet. The same one you just claimed was dead. Should I show the kids the live feed? Or do you want to tell them the truth yourself? Another pause. Then a hissed whisper. You're making me look like a fool. No, Margaret. You did that all on your own. She tried to justify it. Something about teaching me a lesson for trusting a pet sitter over her. As if traumatizing my kids was some noble act of concern. I was done. Put my kids back on the phone. More shuffling, then Emma's teary voice. Mommy? Baby, I want you and Tyler to go check Oreo's cage. Right now. Put me on speaker. Footsteps. A gasp. He's alive. Tyler shouted. Oreo's okay. But Grandma said. Emma's voice wavered in confusion. I took a steady breath. Grandma made a mistake, I said firmly. Oreo is fine. Amanda has been taking excellent care of him, and I can see him on my pet camera right now. You can see him? Tyler asked, the grief in his voice replaced by wonder. Yes. And I have pictures from Amanda too. Want me to send them? I forwarded the images, listening as their sniffles turned into relieved giggles. Meanwhile, in the background, Margaret tried to backpedal, but it was too late. My kids had just learned something crucial. Their grandmother would lie to them to prove a point. After making sure they were okay, I hung up and immediately dialed my husband. David picked up on the second ring. Hey, everything okay? No, I said flatly. Your mother just told our children their hamster was dead to prove a point about me traveling for work. A beat of stunned silence. She what? I have receipts, David. The pet cam, Amanda's messages, everything. Our kids were crying. I could hear the tension in his breath. Then finally, a low, steady response. I'm leaving work now. I'll handle it. I knew that tone. In 12 years of marriage, I'd only heard it a handful of times when he was truly angry. Not just annoyed, not just frustrated. Angry. Margaret had finally crossed a line she couldn't smooth over with passive-aggressive remarks and fake concern. As I sat in my hotel room, Watching Oreo stuff his cheeks with food on the pet cam, one thought settled in my mind. If Margaret would lie about this, what else had she lied about? And more importantly, what was she planning next? This was just the beginning. The next morning, back home after cutting my business trip short, I sat at our kitchen table, scrolling through the pet camera footage from the past few days. My stomach twisted as the truth unfolded before me. Margaret hadn't just lied about Oreo's death. She had been sneaking into our house multiple times before the incident. The footage showed her standing in front of his cage, watching. In one clip, she was clearly trying to unlatch it. David set a coffee mug in front of me, his face drawn with exhaustion. He'd spent hours arguing with Margaret the night before after she refused to apologize. I've told my mother she's not to come by anymore without permission. I tightened my grip on my phone. She still has a key for emergencies. What's stopping her from? The doorbell rang. Through the window, I saw Amanda hurrying up the walkway, her expression tight with urgency. I opened the door, my heart already bracing for more bad news. "I'm so sorry to bother you," she said, holding up her phone. "But I think you need to see this." The screen displayed a series of messages from an unknown number. "If you know what's good for you, you'll tell Jessica you lost the hamster. I'll make it worth your while." David, reading over my shoulder, went still. "That's my mother's number." His hands clenched into fists. "She tried to bribe you?" I asked Amanda, disbelief giving way to fury. "When I ignored her, she started threatening me," Amanda said, her voice tight. "Said she'd report me for negligence. That she had proof I was mistreating animals." A sick, cold anger settled over me. "We need to document everything. The footage, these texts." "Already done," Amanda assured me. Something felt off from the start. I started keeping records the first time she approached me. David pulled out his phone. "I'm calling a locksmith. Today." But Margaret was already one step ahead. As the locksmith worked, my phone lit up with notifications. Margaret had posted in our neighborhood Facebook group. "Our grandchildren's beloved pet died under her care. Please be careful who you trust." Dozens of sympathetic comments flooded in. Margaret was playing the role of the heartbroken grandmother perfectly. My hands shook as I showed David the post. His voice was dangerously calm when he called her. "Mom, take down that post." "I'm only trying to protect other families," she said sweetly. "That woman is dangerous. And Jessica's obsession with cameras? Disturbing. Who spies on their own home?" David didn't even flinch. "The cameras that proved you lied? That showed you trying to break into Oreo's cage." Silence, then an indignant hiss. "I was checking on him. Someone needed to. Take down the post or I'll share the footage of you breaking into our house and the text where you tried to bribe Amanda." "You wouldn't dare," Margaret spat. "I'm your mother." "Try me." The post vanished 10 minutes later, but the damage was already done. The seed of doubt had been planted, and Amanda's phone was now flooding with cancellations. I exhaled slowly. "I'll write a statement. Show everyone the truth." Amanda gave a grim smile. "No need. I already reported her to the police for harassment and attempted extortion." Those texts weren't the only ones. That evening, as Emma and Tyler played with Oreo in his supervised playpen, David's phone rang. His sister, Kate. He put her on speaker. "Mom's telling everyone you've lost your mind," Kate said bluntly. "Says Jessica is spying on her with hidden cameras, that she was just trying to protect the kids from an unstable pet sitter." David sighed. "Want to see the footage?" "Already did. Found it on your cloud share. Nice security system, by the way. But listen, there's something you need to know. This isn't the first time Mom's done something like this." I straightened. "What do you mean?" Kate hesitated. "Remember Jenny's daughter's rabbit? The one that ran away when Mom was watching her?" David frowned. "That was 15 years ago." "Yeah, well, Jenny's daughter just found her old diary. Turns out she saw Mom putting the rabbit in her car. Mom told her no one would believe her if she said anything." A chill ran through me. David exhaled sharply. "Jesus Christ." As if on cue, my phone buzzed with a new message from Margaret. "I hope you're happy. The police just came to question me. Is this how you repay everything I've done for your family?" I turned the screen to David. He didn't hesitate. "Save it. We'll need it for the restraining order paperwork." Across the room, Tyler looked up. "What's a restraining order?" David met my eyes, and I saw my own resolve reflected back at me. It means Grandma won't be visiting for a while, buddy. Because she lied about Oreo? Emma asked quietly. David's voice was firm. Yes, because she lied about Oreo. But we both knew the truth. This wasn't just about Oreo. Margaret had spent years perfecting her manipulation, and she wasn't about to stop now. She was already planning her next move, one that would force us to choose between protecting our children and maintaining peace in the family. And this time, she wouldn't just target a pet. The email from Child Protective Services arrived 3 days after we filed for the restraining order. We've received concerning reports about the welfare of minors in your home. My hands shook with rage as I stared at the screen. Margaret's retaliation had been swift and calculated. She's claiming we're neglecting the kids, I told David that evening. Says our excessive focus on a rodent is causing us to ignore their basic needs. She even submitted photos of empty snack cabinets as proof. David's jaw clenched. Empty because she threw out their food last time she was here. He ran a hand through his hair, his voice dark with fury. This ends now. The CPS investigation, though stressful, turned out to be Margaret's biggest mistake. Our caseworker, Miss Torres, was sharp and thorough. She noted how well-adjusted Emma and Tyler were, how their rooms were filled with books and artwork, how Oreo's care had actually taught them responsibility. Your mother-in-law submitted these? Miss Torres asked, showing us photos of an unmade bed and empty cabinets. The timestamp caught my eye. These were taken the day she told the kids Oreo died, I said. Look at the date. Miss Torres' expression hardened. The same day your security cameras show her entering without permission. David nodded. We have footage of her removing items from our home. The investigation expanded. Other families came forward. Jenny's daughter, now an adult, formally reported the rabbit incident. 2 other mothers shared similar stories. Margaret had taught them lessons by traumatizing their pets. Margaret's campaign to paint us as unfit parents backfired spectacularly. The final CPS report didn't just clear us, it raised concerns about her. Evidence suggests a pattern of emotional manipulation and potential elder abuse, Miss Torres wrote, citing Margaret's history of using children and pets to control her family. And then Margaret crossed a line she couldn't walk back. I was in the kitchen when I heard Emma scream. I ran upstairs, my pulse hammering. Her bedroom window was open. Oreo's cage was empty. On her bed lay a note in Margaret's handwriting. Now you'll learn what happens to children who choose pets over family. She had forgotten one crucial detail. Oreo's new cage had a GPS tracker. Within an hour, police found her at her house. Oreo was safe, confused but unharmed. As they led her away in handcuffs, she shrieked about protecting her family, about how we were the ones harming the children. The charges piled up. Breaking and entering, attempted theft, harassment. At the court hearing, other family members finally spoke up. David's father took the stand, his voice heavy with regret. I should have stopped her years ago. She always said she was teaching important lessons, but really she was punishing anyone who didn't do things her way. The judge's decision was swift. 5 years restraining order, mandatory counseling, no unsupervised contact with minors. Months later, Emma and Tyler still asked about their grandmother, but the questions had changed. Why did Grandma try to hurt Oreo? Emma asked one evening as we watched him run in his wheel. I chose my words carefully. Sometimes people think hurting others is okay if it gets them what they want. But that's never true. Tyler nodded. Like when she lied about him dying. Exactly, I said. That's why we stand up to people who hurt others, even if they're family. David hung the restraining order next to Oreo's cage, a reminder that protecting our family sometimes meant keeping certain people away. Margaret still sends letters. She claims she's changed, that she misses the kids, but the security cameras stay on. Oreo's GPS tracker remains active. Some lessons we've learned are worth remembering. Last week, Emma drew a picture for her school's My Family project. It showed all of us, Mom, Dad, Tyler, and Oreo in his tracking-enabled cage. Beneath it, she wrote, "My family keeps each other safe." Looking at that drawing, I realized Margaret had taught us something valuable after all. True family protects. True family never manipulates. And sometimes the smallest member of the family, a hamster named Oreo, can reveal the biggest truths about love, trust, and standing up for what's right. The restraining order expires in 4 years. Until then, Oreo runs happily in his wheel, Our children grow stronger and wiser, and our home remains a place where pets are family and truth matters more than control. And Margaret? She posts on Facebook about ungrateful children and modern parenting, but fewer people listen. Sometimes the best revenge is simply living well, with or without a GPS track hamster.